Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hello everyone, welcome to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast. Andy with you here as always, and man, we have a doozy today. So we have kind of an unexpected, or at least it was for me, Balance of the Force / errata / mid-cycle update / whatever the heck you want to call it, and there was way too many slashes in that statement. So that's what we're going to cover today. It kind of caught me off guard, obviously, and it's not small, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff happening here that can really change a lot of things in the meta. So let's go ahead and deep dive into that today. All right, folks, thanks for joining me and also for suffering through that poorly done intro. I mean, the reality is this caught me off guard today, like I already said, and also tomorrow. So this is going up Thursday. Tomorrow's cast will go up Friday as it was originally planned. Tomorrow's cast is actually slightly, because I recorded a couple days ago, it's actually slightly impacted by some of this. Not really in terms of the thesis statement, in terms of I don't need to scrap it. But hopefully for those of you who watch the channel in order, you will keep in mind and be forgiving for a couple of things. Obviously, there's people out there who like to, find fault in anything they can, and there's a couple of things in tomorrow's cast that will be affected by this. But the overall statement, I think, is the same. But we're not talking about tomorrow. We are talking about today. And I do want to say, Lanza, we love you, man. We've already given you the award for being an outstanding person in Star Wars Destiny, and I love it when you can embody like this was clearly like it was written by Lanza, and like you can tell it was written by someone who's funny, someone who's cool, someone who's a good part of the community. It just starts with "Welp, here we are," right? And it's like you can just, it's just like the dudes talking, and I love stuff like that, right? I love that you can embody actual people when you're reading something like this instead of something else. So what they do is they start by basically saying it's been a very diverse meta, which I don't think is a surprise to anybody. I mean, without a doubt, the biggest takeaway from most of Redemption is how good of a job they did blowing everything wide open and making so many different archetypes playable. I mean, obviously, pirates had their effect early, and they somewhat mitigated that. Based on my own hate of just pirates and choke as a play style, I still think they didn't go far enough. But that doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that that's my play style. So my point here is it's obviously been blown wide open, lots of different decks, which has really been fantastic. So what they did first is they went into the watch list. Now, what I'm not sure about here is if these are just addition. I'm assuming that the 3 cards that they're adding here are being added to the watch list. Because like you guys are very familiar, like Camino was already on the watch list. And I hope that these are just additions and not removals, right? The reason is Camino, a cloning facility, I think the only reason that's been kept in check is because Pirate Choke has kept Veer's ramp out of, so it's been Pirate Choke that's kept Veer's ramp down, and also Lumpy has really, you don't want to play a Blizzard when, Lumpy's out, right? So I'm hoping these are, I'm pretty sure these are just additions. So transformations, Anakin, and actually let's do those guys last, because that'll be a bit of a rant for me. But Den of Thieves, a very smart player can make Den of Thieves worth way more than Den of Thieves looks like it's worth, right? There are a lot of cards out there that take resources off of stuff. I think it might have been. I'm pretty sure there are designers out there who are probably kicking themselves, or maybe they aren't. I don't know, but I think that people are probably kicking themselves for not making this damage that goes on there instead of resources with a way that interacts with a lot of other cards. And I think that's really the impetus for Den of Things being put on here, is because, like, I can do damage to your character. You can put it on Den of Thieves and then use a removal card to remove one of my dice and remove something from it. That's pretty freaking good, right? So I again, there's a lot of card interactions that happen there. So I think putting this on the watch list is good. Basically meaning that, with the other changes they're making, this could become better. So I think this is appropriate. Lumpy, Lumpy's pretty cost effective. He's pretty cost effective for where he's at, especially because, you can try with him pretty easy, right? And yeah, I don't know. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that Lumpy's just going on the watch list. I realize that they look at data from tournaments and stuff like that, and I get it, so that's fine. I think he certainly deserves to be on the watch list. I would personally like to have seen something a little more go with him there. But, it is, like I said, and like you'll see tomorrow, it is a very different world of Destiny that we've been living in over the last 6 to 8 weeks. And maybe holding Lumpy to the old standard isn't the right thing to do. It's going down into the balance update. I love this. Been thicker. I didn't know we called him thicker. I thought Lanza and I thought we agreed it was been thick, but yeah, it's fine. It's for fun. Been thicker is now been slimmer. He is now 13-16. Ben Thick's without a doubt the talk of the rage quit town, and he goes into call some various people out. But I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that Ben Thick's huge. Ha ha ha! See what I just did there? I didn't even do that intentionally. All right. So let's be clear. Ben Thick, and I talk about this a bit tomorrow. Ben Thick is one of those guys that you're pretty much okay playing him at single die, because he has so much going on with him where he's at, that, like, honestly, he has a he has a really, really good die for 3 points. Like, that 2 shield side is no freaking joke, right? And all the other stuff he can do, but the other stuff he can do is, my point is, I would love to play him elite, but I'm perfectly happy bringing Benthic to the table at single die, because I think he gets me a lot. So putting him at 13, actually, to be honest, like, I look at him and I'm like, oh, Chewie. Like, I could play dual Chewie and single Benthic, and, like, I think I'd be perfectly happy with that deck. I think I'd be more than happy with that deck. But it's just, it's just more control. I don't think it surprises anybody that Benthic. I think everybody expected something to happen with Benthic. I think the question was what. We know that they generally fall in the terms of not changing a card. So especially like a character card, when they can just balance the Force it. That said, we now move into the errata, which is Veteran of War. And like I said, they generally fall in the camp of not trying to change a card. But they have to for errata. So errata, Veteran of War. This card has been the topic of perhaps even more debate than Benthic was. I think that's probably very safe to say, right? I personally, right, so there was a lot of debate over there, and I fell in the camp. I've been saying it earlier that I was really surprised it wasn't unique. And the reason I was saying it wasn't unique is because of the overwrite thing, right? You could overwrite it for just the 2 healing and be effectively in the same spot. So what they're doing here is they're making you pay a resource to heal. So it's somewhat of an on-demand when you play field medic, or sorry, it's not an on-demand, it's a when you play field medic. I think it's okay. Like, I think it accomplishes basically the same. I think this is a good change, right? Because I think it accomplishes effectively the same thing as if you were trying to make it unique to prevent overwriting for the free healing, right? I think it's completely fine. I understand why they did what they did originally, where you could overwrite it. It's no different than like overwriting a Neiman with a Neiman. If you made it unique, you couldn't do that. At least in this case, it cost you $1 to heal the 2. So I think, and actually I'm seeing that now they actually reference Neiman in the statement. But I think this is fine. It's probably not the way I would have gone, but I think it probably actually better than, like I said, I was very much in the make it unique camp, and this is probably better. It's probably a better job. So props to the guys for that. And the other part of it having costing 1 is, we've seen a lot of nastiness of this come out with you're in command. Like it's almost worse in some cases because like you don't mind discarding it and then it comes in and heals the 2. Well, now you still have to pay the 1 regardless of the discount. So I think this is probably legit. Admiral Akbar jumped to light speed. I'll admit I've never had to play against this. Maybe it's because I typically play against like people who are nice. Realistically, this is pretty dirty. I don't know how often people are letting you have mean streets versus with this pairing. But I mean, the ability to skip around, like, we're so much in the mindset that you try to rush out, ambush out and do your damage, and then you try to jump, right, to avoid them. You got your thing done, you just end the round. In this case, what they're just trying to end the round because then they get another X-Wing, right? It's actually very, very smart tactically. So I think this makes complete sense because then it doesn't like screw anything else up. Like you're not errataing anything, you're not banning anything, you're just restricting these 2 from playing together. I think this one's really smart. So that's actually it. And to quote Lanza, that's it for now. Go forth and kick A. So thanks to the ARH guys for these updates. I think honestly, my takes on them, I think they're pretty good. I think Benthic's, Benthic's probably the hot topic. And I think him going to 13-16 is probably a really good start, right? I don't know. The problem with Benthic is he's got too much going on. And I think we all know that. And his static claim ability is probably, like, I kind of feel that, like, his static claim ability should have, like, been a character, right? And instead he has 2.5 abilities with piloting. But I understand, and I think this is a good place to start. And like maybe in the end they go and they fix him and they make it back to 15. Like I think this is probably the first step in. Yeah, I think this is the right thing to do. So, I don't think there was anything that caught me by surprise in this overall, and I don't think there's anything that rubs me the wrong way. Except for, what I completely skipped over because I said I'd talk to it later and then I didn't. This one does rub me the wrong way. Transformations Anakin, Transformations Han. I've said this before. I think I said this like 3 months ago back in a Redemption update, and I remember Wyatt called me out at the time because he was on the playtesting team. Basically, I said, why is this kind of stuff going on the watch list? Because there's nothing that will ever happen that will make it worse. And I guess that's why the end conclusion there being, if Anakin and Han haven't already deserved to be changed, what's going to change to make them come off the watch list? Like, what's the point of even saying we're watching them at this point? Like, they're not going to get worse over time. Like, that's more what I'm saying. And like, I think putting them here is really just paying lip service and trying to make people feel good that, oh yeah, these guys might be a problem. It's like, well, no freaking, bleep, they're a problem, right? So that's my takeaway from this. I really don't know, like, what else can Han do? Like, what can Han or Anakin do that will possibly make them worse than they are already? So, I mean, if they're clearly fine where they are today, then they're just going to stay there. They're just going to stay there, right? So I think everyone out there just needs to assume that Han is going to stay where he is at that 10-13. I think everyone needs to assume that Anakin's going to stay where he is at the 10-13. And I think if you're a designer going forward, I think you have to 100% assume that they exist in the card pool, right? Like, I don't think, we talked about Dash before. Like, I wonder if Dash was designed thinking that Han wasn't going to be a partner with him, and then they got boned. Like, I don't know the story there, but like, there has to be some explanation of how Dash and Han became a deck, right? And the only explanation to me would be, well, of course Han's going to get nerfed to 14. So anyway, I don't want to go too far down this, but like I say, I don't even understand why to have them on the watch list, because you've already shown you don't want to do anything about it, right? So anyway, like I said, I don't want to go too down on the negative because I think most of this is really good. I think all of this is really smart. The Den of Thieves thing, yeah, I mean, it's fair, right? The Den of Thieves thing probably is right to go on the watch list because it's not really causing any waves yet. And again, to hit back, I'm really hoping that these are additions to the watch list and not the new watch list, because Camino certainly needs to stay on there, because I do think that over time people are going to figure out the Veer's ramp type of deal, and I think that's going to lead to something. But anyway, we've talked about this enough. It is what it is. It's really pretty straightforward. Aside from the Anakin Han thing, I think it's all pretty straightforward. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Am I missing anything? I may very well be missing something here. I haven't had a lot of experience with Lumpy. Like maybe he is a lot worse than I think he is. I think putting him on watch list is probably okay for now, just because of where we're at in the meta. I wouldn't be surprised if Lumpy has to get Balance of Force in the future. Anyway, like I said, for those of you who've been playing a lot of those EG and the Artificery stuff, let us know in the comments. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining me today. Just kind of my thoughts again. I appreciate the forgiveness for tomorrow's casts. Like I said, most of it still holds true, but there's obviously, we talk about Vintech for a bit and he's now been changed, right? So anyway, appreciate that. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.